Greetings everybody, how are you guys doing? It is me, Rob, from Sage Tower Games, and today I'm making a video about the power attack feat. Now I know it might be a bit odd to have a video just about one single feat, but power attack is a kind of a special feat that has a bit of a ingrainedness to players who may have played from older editions. So let's start with first edition. In first edition, power attack was necessarily really needed because so many feats were dependent on you having power attack as an actual prerequisite. Also, if you actually mathematically did all the numbers for power attack, it actually proved to be beneficial to always be using power attack if you were a melee based character. Now, the question is, does that same numbers and that same math carry over to second edition, and is it worth it to pick up power attack in 2E? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to actually see what power attack does in second edition. So, power attack is a 2-action ability. It makes you 1 strike, and if you hit, it does an extra die of damage based on the weapon. At level 10, it does 2 extra weapon damage die, and at level 18, it does 3 extra weapon damage die. Now, key note for this: it says weapon damage die, it does not say your strength modifier, so it only will add damage from the actual damage dice. This attack also counts as 2 attacks for your multiple attack penalty, which essentially means your next attack will be at a -10, pretty much guaranteed. You can take a feat at level 6, that is a Furious Focus feat, which basically makes it so that power attack counts as 1 attack, so your next attack will only be at a -5. Now, this is where I would do the math for you guys and just hit you with it. And I did the math. I looked at Reddit as well. I looked at forum posts. And all the numbers kind of surprised me, actually, when I had sat down and really crunched them. And again, I'm not going to show you the numbers because you'll be all beautiful mind looking at these numbers. But when it comes down to it, it actually isn't that much of a difference. It's essentially 2-3 points depending on the weapon, and I'm a bit surprised by that. So let's break it down a bit. If you're using a D4, a D6, or a D8 weapon, you shouldn't be using power attack. Just no. If you're using a D4 or a D6 weapon as a fighter, you might want to reconsider your choices. So that basically means if you're using a weapon that's a D10 or a weapon that's a D12, those are where power attack would shine. But it actually doesn't. The hitting from 1 attack to an extra D12 point of damage, or making 2 attacks and having them both hit essentially, kind of almost evens out. Like I said, it's only a few points difference. So then what is the benefit of actually having power attack? Well, there's 2 that I could think of right away. The first one is this. Power attack is applied on critical hits. So let's say you are crit with it. So let's say you have a great sword. Okay, 1d12. Let's say strength 16, let's say that you're not super optimized. Okay, so your base attack is 1d12 plus 3. Power attack makes it 2d12 plus 3. If you crit, and if you say that you're 1 attack, it now becomes 4d12 plus 6. That's a lot of damage that you can do at low levels that will probably kill or at least make things pretty close to death at those lower levels. And all it was one feat, essentially. Everything else just came with your character. There was no weird setup needed, there was nothing. Now yes, you could do 2 separate attacks, and if you hope you crit on one of them, it's so like you can kind of see the numbers get a bit fuzzy at that point. So the second way you could use it is for damage resistance, and this is because it's one big attack. Damage resistance only gets applied once. So for those that may not be aware, damage resistance reduces the amount of damage that is done by an attack by a set value. Now if you hit multiple times, each hit would get affected by the damage resistance, or DR. But if you just hit one big attack, it only applies once, and more damage would essentially bleed over. So that's another possible use for this for power attack. Now, the other thing is action economy in general. You shouldn't, in my opinion, you should never go power attack into regular attack, because it would be your power attack would be at your normal attack bonus, and then your second attack would be at a -10. You can go other way around. When you go power attack, you go regular attack at normal, and then power attack at -5, and still hit, and still have an okay chance for hitting. Theoretically, I mean, it's a choice, but that's my personal preference. The other thing is, you may not have the action economy for it. You know, you could be moving, you could be raising a shield, you could be doing other actions that you have built your character to do. So it may be a choice between doing 2 attacks or doing 1 big attack. For instance, you could do double slice is another feat that kind of lets you do 2 attacks that count as 1, essentially. So when you kind of bring it all together, you need to think, what are the pros and cons to using power attack? The pros are, it benefits on critical hits. It makes your crits do a lot more damage, and you probably have a better chance of critting on your first attack than on your second attack, like for instance. It also is good at beating damage resistance, combining into 1 bigger hit as opposed to 2 small hits helps overcome DR. But what are the cons? Well, the cons are, mathematically the damage isn't that great. On average, it's a few points worse, potentially better. Also a con is the fact that you have to really use it on the D10 or D12 weapon, and anything less is really definitely not worth it at all. And the last one, I'm going to highlight this one specifically because this one is the key one. That is, it's playstyle dependent. So what I mean by this is, it really comes down to what kind of character you want to make. Do you want to make a character that hits, 2-3 attacks in a turn and does a lot of damage? Or do you want to make a character that when they hit, it echoes in the room? Creatures fall down in 1 hit to your character. When you roll those dice, the rest of the party is like, damn, that was a lot of damage. Now, in theory, it could be the same amount of damage. But think of it like this. If you're rolling dice and you go, okay, I hit twice, I hit for 12 points of damage and 11 points of damage. So that's 23 points of damage altogether. Okay. Or you roll this thing, you get a power attack. Okay, I hit from once and I do 25 points of damage. Now, if you look at it, it's essentially only a 2-point difference, but it sounds more impactful. That fact that you hit for 25 damage in 1 hit, it's like, damn. Think of it like this. So say you have a weapon, great sword, let's say, right? You go slice slice, 12, 11, let's just say, or if you go 25 power attack, you're going wham, you know, you're really driving it in. And that's, like I said, is the main factor and what will lead me to my decision when it comes to power attack. So, is power attack worth it? Technically speaking, no, it's not. It actually isn't. But if the character is designed to be that kind of a character that carries a big weapon and just drops bodies to the floor and makes it so that when they hit, the enemy know that they just got hit. They will be awakened to this fact when they just took a ton of damage, and that's what you want to build. Then yeah, take power attack. Power attack would definitely be worth it in that case. Otherwise, no. There's plenty of other feats out there that you can take that give you more utility, other actions, and probably even better damage in the long run, to be honest. So it's a shame. Power attack was that one of those key feats in 1E, but in 2E it's kind of falling behind. So what do you guys think about power attack? Do you think power attack is useful? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Pathfinder 2nd edition videos. And I will see everybody next time. Thank you guys for watching.